In this video, we are going to review the equations of circles and parabolas. So first we have some true or false questions. Looking at this equation, this is a circle with radius 5. Well, that is false. Because whatever is in this position is the radius squared. So remember, the equation of a circle looks like this. So this number is the radius squared. And by the way, the center is h comma k. So it's the opposite of both of these. Anyway, so the radius is actually the square root of 5. So looking at this next one, true or false, this is a parabola that opens to the right. Well, it's definitely a parabola because we only have one variable squared. Now remember this though. The first parabola we ever learned about was a parabola that was y equals x squared. And that was an upward facing parabola. If we had y equals negative x squared, then it would be a downward facing parabola. So when the x was squared, it's either up or down. Now, imagine that we have this strange situation where instead of x squared, we have y squared. So say if we have x equals y squared. All right, this is new. This is when it is a sideways parabola. And if everything is positive, then it's going to the right. On the other hand, if we have x equals, for example, negative y squared, then it would go to the left. So which one of these four basic situations are we in? Starting with which variable is squared? Is it x squared or is it y squared? Here we do have y squared. So that means it's either going to, whoa, I messed that up. All right, with the negative, I'm still doing it. With the negative, it should be facing to the left. All right, so it's either going to be facing to the right or facing to the left. So you just have to be careful because see how it's negative on both sides? Those negatives cancel each other out. You know what I mean? If we divided both sides by -2, you would find out that what we really have is positive 2x is equal to y squared. So you might have thought it would be going to the left because of the negative, but because it's negative on both sides, they cancel out. So it's really positive. So that's why we're dealing with this situation is facing to the right. And it says so, so that's why that one is true. Okay, looking at this equation, true or false, it has a focal point of 0, 6. Okay, for a parabola, here are the general forms of the equation of a parabola. If the x is squared, it's x minus h squared is equal to 4p times y minus k. Okay, that's how it looks if the x is squared. If we have the situation where the y is squared, then it's y minus k squared is equal to 4p times x minus h not squared. So which one of these situations are we in? We see that the y is squared. Okay, so we're dealing with this bottom one. Now compare this with our equation, 24x equals y squared. Okay, so we have 24x equals y squared. I'm sure you'll agree that this is the same thing as y squared equals 24x. All right, just trying to make it look more like our standard form. So notice how we don't have minus k or a minus h. that means the vertex must be 0, comma 0. Okay, because normally the vertex is h, comma k. Opposite of this one, opposite of this one. But there's nothing added or subtracting, so it's 0, comma 0. And because the y is squared, it's one of those sideways parabolas, and everything is positive, so we know it's going to be facing to the right. Maybe I'll just put it underneath here. It's facing to the right. Okay, keep that in the back of your mind. Now, right here, we have 4p. We're going to need to know what p is. So the 4p is in the same position as this 24. Okay, that's because the 4p equals 24. If I divide both sides by 4, then I get p equals 6. Okay, here's what I do with that information. So I know that I've got the vertex at 0, and the parabola is going to the right, and the p-value is 6. So it's time to make a sketch. Okay, the vertex is at 0, comma 0. Now, because the p-value is 6, I'm going to go ahead and mark this off 6 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that p-value tells me where the focus is going to be. So I should have my focus right here, because I knew the parabola was facing to the right. So this is a sketch of what we're dealing with. Okay, so notice that focus has the coordinates 6, comma 0. So the focal point has coordinates 0, comma 6. That is false. All right, it should have been 6, comma 0. All right, look at this one. They're saying the center is 3, comma 9. Opposite of this, uh-oh, they messed up. So this one is false. It should be the opposite of this and the opposite of this. So it should be positive 3, comma negative 9. All right, how about this? Does this have a radius of 25? No, that's false. All right, the radius here should be 5, not 25. It's the square root of this. I want you to be really careful about this last one. They want to know about the p-value, but look, this equation, the 24 is in the wrong place. Here's what I mean. So they gave us x equals 24y squared. But when we write our models, here's what we usually do. We usually have, first of all, we usually have the squared thing on the left. So we usually will have we usually will have y squared is equal to 4p times x. Or if the vertex is not 0, comma 0, then we have y minus k squared is equal to 4p times x minus h. Either way, the 4p, we usually do not put it with the thing that is being squared. It's on the other side. It's on the unsquared side. So this 24 is in the wrong place. So first of all, I'm just going to recopy this as 24y squared equals x. So if I want to find p, I need to get y squared by itself. So I need to divide by 24. And this is the same thing as 1 over 24. So let's look at it that way. So now we have y squared is equal to 1 over 24x. So when I start talking about p, this is 4p. All right, not 24, 1 over 24. So 4p is equal to 1/24. I need to divide by 4 to get p. So I'm dividing both sides by 4. Now here's something you might not know. If you want to divide a fraction by a number, all you really have to do is put the number in the denominator with the existing denominator. All right, so dividing by 4 would be the same thing as multiplying the denominator by 4. So that's going to turn out to be, so p is equal to 1 over 96. Okay, so looking back at the question, the point is that p is definitely not 6. Definitely not 6. So this one is false. Number 2, what is the center and radius of the circle? Well, it's going to be the opposite of each of these. So it's going to be -2, 5. And then this is the radius squared, so we'll take the square root and get 2. Looking at b, there's nothing added or subtracted inside of here, so this must be 0, 0. And the radius is going to be 11. This is the radius squared, so the radius squared is 121. To find the radius, you have to take the square root. Okay, let's look at C. Center should be the opposite of each of these, so that's going to be -7, -7. And the radius will be the square root of 3. For number 3, we have to take each one of these parabolas and find the p-value, the focal point, the direction, and the directrix. All right, so looking at this first one, all right, let's do it on the black screen. So notice that the x is squared, so that means it's a normal up and down parabola. Because I see the negative over here, I know it's going to be facing downward like this. So as far as direction, we know it's going to be down. So what else? We're used to having it written more this way, of having x squared is equal to 4p and then y. So let's get rid of this -32 fraction by multiplying by -32 on both sides. Okay, that way these are going to cancel each other out. And that's going to leave x squared is equal to -32y. Okay, so this -32 is the 4p. So in other words, 4p is equal to -32. If we divide both sides by 4, that's going to give me p is equal to -8. So p is -8. Okay, let's get our sketch going. The vertex is going to be 0, 0. See how there's nothing being, it's not x minus 2 or y plus 3 or anything, it's just x squared and y. So you know that the vertex is 0, 0. So we'll use that to get our sketch started. Okay, and we know this is facing downward. So with our vertex at 0, 0, and P is -8. So that means we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is going to be where our focus is. So we have a focus at 0, -8. So this is what our parabola is doing. Okay, so that's focus is 0, -8. Now the directrix is going to be a horizontal line in the opposite direction. So our directrix will be up here at +8. Okay, so that's y equals 8. All right, so that's it for A. All right, looking at B here, we have y squared equals 10x. Okay, I'm just going to copy that down. So I have y squared equals 10x. All right, again, that means that the vertex is 0, 0. The y is being squared. That means it's sideways. Everything is positive. That means it's facing to the right. Okay, like it's doing one of these. So let's get our sketch going. Okay, so we know that the vertex is at 0, 0, and we know it's going to the right like this. So our focus will be in here somewhere. So let's find that focus. We find the focus by understanding that this is 4p. So 4p is equal to 10. If I divide both sides by 4, all right, 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. So that tells us that p is equal to 2.5. All right, so if I go 1, 2, 3, then the focus will be right here at 2.5, 0. So P was 2.5. The focus was 2.5, 0. The direction is to the right. So we just need the directrix. No, that's not what I need. So the directrix will be the same distance in the other direction. All right, brother. So that means this is my directrix. Its vertical lines are always x equals, so x equals negative 2.5. Okay, so for part C, we have y squared equals negative 44x. Let me just copy that down. Wait, that color's not going to work. All right, it was y squared equals negative 44x. I see that the y is squared. That means it's sideways. I see this negative. That means it's facing to the left. So it's doing one of these. Yeah. So we're supposed to say the direction. So it's facing to the left. So there's that. Let's get the p-value happening. This negative 44, that's your 4p. So 4p is equal to negative 44. If you divide both sides by 4, then you get p is equal to negative 11. Okay, so that's the p-value, is negative 11. Okay, so we just need the focus and directrix now. So we can use that information to make a basic sketch. So here's our sketch. I'm going to make it even more sketchy than usual. The vertex. We know the vertex is 0, 0, because there's no addition or subtraction happening. So there's our vertex. We know it's facing to the left. We already talked about that. That means our focus will be over here somewhere inside the parabola. Because the p-value is negative 11, we know that this will be over here at negative 11, 0. So there's your focus. Whoa. Whatever. So there's a focus. The directrix is going to be the same distance on the other side. So the directrix will be over here. And it'll also be over here at 11. So this is going to be, well, it's a vertical line. So that means it's going to be x equals. Vertical lines are always x equals. So x equals 11. All right, any questions on C? Okay, so let's do the same thing for D. Let's see, negative 16 x squared. Can you guys notice that that negative 16 is sort of in the wrong place of the equation? Okay, so don't go thinking that that's your 4p. We're going to have to move that 16 to the other side by division. Okay, so let's see. See if I can remember this equation for 5 seconds. All right, was it negative 16 x squared? Yeah, I didn't remember, for the record. Equals y. So let's go ahead and divide now. So dividing by negative 16 on both sides. All right, think of it as 1/16. So that gives us x squared is equal to negative 1/16 y. Notice that the vertex, once again, is 0, 0. The x is squared. That means it's a normal up-down. Because it's negative, that means it's going to be down. So it's going to be one of these. So we can write that down. So the direction is down. The p-value. So 4p is going to equal negative 1/16. So divide both sides by 4. Remember that if you divide an already fraction by something, all you have to do is put that number you're dividing by in the denominator with the denominator. So what's 4 times 64? Thank you. So this is going to be p is equal to negative 1 over 64. Okay, so there's our p-value. So focus and directrix. So let's get our sketch going. It's going to be very, very sketchy. We know it's at 0, 0. We know it's facing down. Shh. So we know the focus is going to be down. The focus is going to be down here somewhere. We're going to just use the p-value. Okay, obviously it's a teeny tiny number, but this is 0, negative 1/64. So there's your focus. I'm just using the p-value to know what it is. And similarly, the directrix is going to be this horizontal line. Horizontal lines are always y equals. That's going to be y equals positive 1/64. Okay, any questions about D? Okay, so for number 4, we're given this general form, yet we're supposed to find the center and the radius. So remember, this is that type where we have to rewrite it in standard form with the parentheses. Basta. So we're going to have to complete the square at least once. So look, we need to get this together. Let's collect the x terms. So we have x, oh, that's too big. Demasiado. In fact, I better write some. So here, my x terms are like this. I've got x squared, and then I've got negative 12x. I'm going to leave a space. And then I have y squared, and then I have negative 14y. And I'm going to leave a space there also. This positive 4, I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. Get it out of the way. All right? Any questions on what I did so far? I'm sort of getting my x's together. I'm getting my y's together. Okay, so we're completing the square 2 times. So half of the middle squared. So this would be 6, and then 36. Don't forget to add it on both sides to avoid that nuclear mistake I used to talk about. So common, that's why I called it that. And then on this side, half of 14, that's 7. So I'm going to square that, and that's going to be 49. And again, I got to do that on both sides. So when I do this, that means that this is going to be x minus 6 twice. And this side over here is going to be y minus 7 twice. What do you get from putting all 3 of these together? 81. Great. Okay, well there it is. I left myself a ton of space I didn't really need. This is the standard form. Now I can know the center and the radius. So the center is 6, 7. It's the opposite of these. And the radius is 9. It's the square root of that. Any questions on part A? This one, same thing. Subtract 37 from both sides. So I'm going to have negative 37 over there. Collecting my terms together. X squared minus 2x, those are my x's. Leave a space. Y squared minus 20y. Leave a space. Half of this is 1. 1 squared is 1. Don't forget to put it on both sides. Half of this is 10. 10 squared is 100. Got to put it on both sides. So this is going to be x minus 1 squared. And this is going to be y minus 10 squared. What does this make? Help me.
64.
64. Thank you. So that means the center is going to be 1, 10, and the radius will be 8. Any questions? All right, looking at circle A for problem number 5. We need the equation of this circle. But look, the center is negative 5, 2. So from that, we get x plus 5 squared, and then y minus 2 squared. So then the radius is 4. So that means this is going to be 16.
How do you 16? The radius?
Right, the radius was 4, and then we squared that. All right, I'll just do this one more. Circle B, this is what, 4 comma 5? So that's x minus 4 squared and y minus 5 squared. And then the radius is 2, so that means this is going to be 4. All right, how about circle C? Well, the center is 3 comma negative 3. So right away that's going to give me the left side of the equation. So that's going to make it x minus 3 squared and then y plus 3 squared. Okay, because it's got to be the opposite of both of these. Now here we just need the radius squared. But the radius is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So since the radius is 5, right here we will have 25. So that's it for circle C. Now how about circle D? Okay, oh, circle D is the big circle. Well, because the center is 0 comma 0, then that's just going to be x squared plus y squared. Okay, so we just need the radius squared. Well, the radius is 10. So that means right here I'm going to have 100. So that is the equation of circle D. All right, for number 6, we're supposed to graph all these. So I'm going to color code them. So this first one will be green. So first of all, the center is going to be 5 comma 4. Okay, so there's my center. And now the radius is going to be the square root of this. So my radius is going to be 4. So I'm just going 4 in all directions. So this will be my circle. Okay. All right, the next one I will do in pink. So my center is going to be 0, comma negative 7, with radius 3, square root of that. 0, negative 7 is going to be right here. And then radius of 3, so I'm going to go 3 in all directions. So this is going to be my circle. So that's what that one should look like. All right, I think I'll do the next one in blue. And the center is going to be negative 6 comma positive 2 with a radius of 4. All right, so there's my center, and the radius is 4, so we're going 4 in all directions. So there's circle C. And then finally circle D. I will do this one in purple. The center is going to be negative 3, negative 2, with radius 5. So there's my center. And I'm just going to go 5 in all directions. All right, so that is what circle D is going to look like. All right, that was number 6. Where's number 7? All right, I don't see a number 7, so I'm just going to do number 8. So, looking at this problem, is this parabola opening up, down, left, or right? Well, x squared means that it's either up or down. Because this is negative, it's going to be down. All right, what's the p-value? Well, this negative 16 is 4p. So I can say that 4p is equal to negative 16. So dividing both sides by 4 gives me that p is equal to negative 4. All right, let's get a graph started. We know the vertex is 0, 0, and we know that's going to go down, and so we know the focus will be down 4. So we'll use this graph to help us. So the focus will be right here at 0, negative 4. Okay. We also know that the focal width is 16. So that means at the focus, to get a total of 16, we should go 8 in both directions. So it's going to be here and here. Okay, so I can really see where it's going to be going. So let's see. We have 0, 0. We have at negative 8, it's negative 8, negative 4. All right, and we have positive 8 is also at negative 4. All right, so they've got these other points in here. So let's figure out what the y value is at 4 and negative 4. I can put this in my TI-30 if I divide both sides by negative 16. So that's going to give me y is equal to negative 1/16 x squared. So this is what I'll put in my calculator. So use your table feature. So negative 1/16 x squared. All right, we want to know what's happening at, for example, negative 4. So at negative 4, we have negative 1. All right, so negative 4, negative 1. We can graph that as well. At positive 4, it is also negative 1. All right, you can see how they're sort of mirror images of each other. Okay, so that gives you a good idea of what the graph is going to be looking like. And here they're asking for the focal point, or the focus, which was 0, negative 4. And what's the equation of the directrix? Well, the directrix will be the same amount, but in the opposite direction. So this is down 4, so the directrix should be up 4. All right, and that's the equation y equals 4.